Good afternoon and welcome to Red True Diaries episode 86. And it's been a busy 2 weeks. It's been about that since I last recorded. And I actually wanted to record sooner. It's just been hard making the time. So I'm squeezing in the time now because I've been wanting to talk about this time that we've transitioned to, which is Sagittarius. And according to Kenneth Meadows' book, Earth Medicine, it is the owl time of year. Before I dive into this and give an overview of what's going on in terms of the earth and the atmosphere regarding this time of year, um, I wanted to mention how the last time I recorded, I ran out of space. And if my videos ever cut off, that's why, because I won't realize how much space I have. Right now, I know I have plenty of space, so shouldn't have in this episode. In any case, what I was talking about, though, was humility. And shortly thereafter, I had yet another awesome experience of being humbled in a very good way. Two things that come to mind, honestly. And by the way, those bells are my neighbors digging out their things for Christmas. Today is December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, as well as one of my good friends' birthday. So happy birthday to you. If you end up seeing this, you know who you are. So, okay, first things first. One of the things that was kind of funny and humbling is that my lover asked me what moon cycle I'm on, if I was on a red moon cycle or a white moon cycle. And I looked at him like I had a feeling what he was talking about in terms of with the full moon, was I bleeding or was I ovulating, or say not bleeding? And I didn't realize that it's a it's a it's there's a book called Red Moon. It's a whole practice or body of knowledge to where if you have your menstrual cycle during a full moon, that's called a red moon, and it has certain qualities and characteristics that come along with it pertaining to the woman who is bleeding at that time, versus a white moon when the moon is full and you're ovulating and you're more fertile at that time. You're going to be fertile when you're ovulating regardless, but it's easier to get pregnant apparently when it's a white moon and you're fertile. And women are known to use their feminine powers in different ways when they're bleeding during a full moon. And again, it makes sense, but I was humbled in that I have never known a guy to actually know more about these things, my menstrual cycle or my link with it to the moon, than I did, as well as I normally do know where my cycle is in relation to the phase of the moon, and I happened to have fallen out of it. I knew where I was in my cycle, and I knew the moon was going to be full or was full around that time. But again, I had fallen out of sync with myself in relation to the moon, and it was humbling and also in a great way. Yeah, it brought me back into awareness, which is an awesome gift. So even though it can be challenging and difficult for some of us, including myself, to humble ourselves before another person and open ourselves to the knowledge they have to impart, it really is a wonderful gift to ourselves and to others to go ahead and acquiesce and learn and listen and grow from it. So, and in another way that I had grown, the main one is that I actually looked into the possibility of changing my major yet again. This would be the third time in the past year and a half. And some people are resistant to change. Many people are resistant to change, but to me, if it makes sense, then I'm just going to go with it. So I looked into a different program at my school, and I happened to meet most of the prerequisites. So it's an easy transition, and it's something I had thought of before, but anyway, went ahead and did it, and I'm extremely happy as a result. So let me go ahead and get started, because speaking of school, I'm in my last week of tests. I think I have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 more days of classes. My last day of classes is next Monday. Today's a Monday. Next Monday, last day of classes, and then the 21st is my last final. And I can hardly wait. This has been the toughest semester ever, but I'm feeling extremely focused. And also, I'm just going to say that the cool thing about recognizing and remembering where I was and with my cycle in relation to the moon is anticipating that, like, I know my period is due to start this upcoming Sunday, and I have a big test on Monday. So I'm not, not that I wait to the last minute, but I'm certainly going to do more studying beforehand, because I know I'll have less energy. And it made sense why my last cycle was much harder, because it is hard. All of us have lower energetic states during a new moon. We are all lifted up by a full moon, but say when we're bleeding at the same time of a new moon, our energy level is that much lower. And knowing that, we can prepare for it. It is a form of a death, and we will be reborn just as the moon is reborn. Our bodies and minds and spirits are reborn. And it was comforting, actually, to remember that, like, aha, and it allows me to plan and prepare and hopefully execute things that much better. So I'm really grateful for that. And okay, on to this time of year, which is known as the owl time of year. It began November 23rd and it goes until December 21st. It's called the long night's time. Those born in the long night's time are thoughtful people. Oh, by the way, this is also known as Sagittarius, okay? Those born in the long night's time are thoughtful people with an ability to seek out things from the minds of others, as well as from within themselves. This is the last of the cycles influenced by the spirit of the West, with its qualities of introspection, and is the time of new opportunities. At this time of year, in the Northern Hemisphere, the air is crisp, let me tell you. That's why I'm in a full jacket right now. Though it's not too cold. We've had an awesome autumn. Anyway, the air is crisp and clean, and one can see clearly in all directions. And to people born at this time, growth is a question of determining the direction of one's life and of having a clear sighting of the goal or target. In so open an environment, the individual is vulnerable and needs to be on guard against falling prey to the forces of greed, indifference, and cruelty. The solar influences are: this is the period of long nights and short days, the darkest month when the power of the sun has departed and chilling winds herald the arrival of the first flurry of snow. But it is also a time of thanksgiving for the abundance that has been gathered and stored in preparation for the winter to come. The waning solar energy, however, stimulates hope and encourages foresight and vision. The related sun sign is Sagittarius. The influence of the west winds brings clarity of mind to those born in the long night's time, which is so necessary to cope with change and renewal. The west winds have a keen edge which enables their direction to be more sharply defined, and thereby help those who are born at this time to attain a clear sense of their own direction in life. The west winds are not strong and blustery and constantly changing their influence, but more penetrating and therefore stimulating and arousing the generation of inner fire. And it's funny, that's because fire has been such a symbol, of course, with Phoenix. We rise from the ashes, but also because I chopped wood, like I said, and built my own fire, which I'm so proud of. And there's just something, I feel that inner fire that is unquenchable after struggling so much for the past couple of months with all the sacrifices I'm making in school. So it's just funny to read that it's arousing the generation of inner fire. So, the northwest direction immediately precedes a cosmic gateway at the entrance of the north-northwest, which on the medicine wheel was concerned with rebirth. In ancient Northern European cultures, it was celebrated as Yule around December 22nd and recognized the birth of cosmic consciousness. The northwest direction of the wheel is a very potent place because it symbolizes initiation as an essential preliminary to spiritual rebirth, which some have described as Christ consciousness. Its polarity is the southeast at the flowering time, which precedes another cosmic gateway, which symbolized the entrance into human incarnation on the medicine wheel. The northwest was the gateway of initiation into the mysteries of life, and in order to pass through it, one had to demonstrate that one had learned correct use of the powers with which one has been entrusted. The greatest of these powers was the power of creative thought. On the medicine wheel, the northwest is also the place of karma, where the unintegrated experiences of the past formulate patterns that are repeated into future lives until their lessons have been learned and applied. The northwest direction is thus the direction for determining what to aim for and for learning how to take control of the constant movement of change. Just as the grizzly bear, which is the totem animal of the West, is able to survive by its own strength, so the emphasis of the Northwest is on self-reliance and on the power that comes from within. Its influence on those in the long night's time is in bringing out their potentials and hidden talents and enabling them to adapt to whatever environment or circumstance in which they find themselves. Its emphasis is not so much on absorbing knowledge as on imparting it. It is a quality that enables many people born in the long night's time to become excellent teachers. So, how funny that I prefaced this episode with the things that were going on in my life that pertains to this, that I honestly hadn't even read this yet. So, yeah, dealing with the fluctuations of change and deciding exactly, what my goal is, even though I started with one goal, in relation to school and even my life. I have changed things up to give myself more options and greater satisfaction for what I can tell. So hopefully some of this has helped you as well, and that you will explore for yourself the inner and outer realms, because it truly is amazing and wonderful. So thank you for watching and listening, and I will be back most likely on the winter solstice, December 21st. Mwah.